everyone, and welcome back. Where you walk your greyhound can make a huge difference to your enjoyment of the walk. I talked before about my experience of walking in the city. Now let's take a look at how we've been getting on walking in the countryside since we moved house. From our new house, we're able to take country walks from the doorstep, and that has totally changed our experience of getting out and about. Of course, there's still a chance of meeting other dogs and their owners, but I'm seeing far fewer dogs than before because there just aren't as many people here to be walking dogs in the first place. I do still drive Floppy and Gandalf in the car so we can start from a less popular spot, but we don't have to go as far, and we don't generally see any dogs on the way, which was a problem previously because Floppy would become very agitated in the car if he saw another dog. We see hardly any squirrels, and I'm able to choose routes that avoid farm animals. So overall, I think I'm coping better at controlling the walks to be less triggering for them. In the countryside, you might be walking on green lanes or through fields. This can be great in the summer, but in wet or winter weather, that can bring different challenges in the form of mud and puddles that not every greyhound enjoys. Gandalf, sweetheart, come on, Mr. G. Mr. G, come on, can you poo? He doesn't want to come and talk to me. He just wants to stand there and sing. Where were we? Luckily, Floppy and Gandalf don't mind muddy puddles to walk through, but there's no way that my Daisy would have walked through that. So it does depend on your dog as to whether that's okay. Since it's become wetter, we've started to do our route in a different order so that we end up with the grassy bit last, and that means that they can clean their feet a bit before we get back to the car. Of course, you can get wet walking anywhere, but now we're walking through woodlands with decaying leaves and plenty of mud. I'm much more conscious of the risk of Alabama rot, and we are cleaning paws more thoroughly and more frequently than we were when we lived in the city. An issue that we have in the countryside, in the UK at least, is navigating the stiles that divide the fields in the fences. Sometimes they will accommodate greyhounds, sometimes not. With my first greyhound, I went on quite a few walking holidays and got into a lot of trouble plenty of times. The squeeze stiles were too narrow, she couldn't turn tight enough for a kissing gate, and I once got stuck on the top of a 4-foot ladder stile in Yorkshire, waiting on the top, holding my dog until some kindly walker helped me down with her on the other side. It was certainly very good for building upper body strength, but I don't think I'd want to be doing it these days. We were very lucky with this style, as Gandalf and Floppy were both brave enough to duck underneath. If AJ had been with us, we'd have had to turn back because he wouldn't have wanted to crouch down to go under there. I could have tempted him with some tasty snacks, but he still probably wouldn't have done it because he doesn't like tight spaces or anything that might bump into him. At the next stile, the space was too small, but luckily there was an open gateway nearby that we could use instead. We also had fun with this bridge. The first time I had to tie them up and then take them across one at a time. However, on our next time that we went past this bridge, Jim just led us over it as if he had been doing it his whole life, and he really didn't understand why it had been a deal. He'd just always crossed bridges like this, and it was really not a problem, so he was a really brave chap. I've learnt that if you're planning a new route, it's a good idea to look for bridleways or green lanes rather than footpaths, because those will have gates instead of stiles, so you're less likely to reach a point where you get stuck. If you're walking on a road and you don't have a pavement to walk on, it's a good idea to wear bright or reflective clothing, especially if the weather is dull or the light is going. I was taught that you should always walk towards the traffic but cross over on bends so that drivers have the best chance of seeing you in plenty of time. I'm trying to keep the road sections of our walks to a minimum because with several dogs it can be hard to keep everybody close to the edge and safe. Walking less on hard surfaces does mean that I'm having to trim their nails more often. I've noticed a definite difference in how quickly their nails wear down since we've moved house because of walking mainly on softer surfaces. Since moving to a more rural area, I am finding our walks much more enjoyable. It brightens my day to see fantastic countryside views, and I'm loving that I no longer have to walk along busy roads breathing in diesel fumes from heavy lorries or plan my activities around the local school schedule. Another thing I don't miss is regularly being told that I have my hands full just because I'm walking 3 well-behaved greyhounds. Obviously, this is just my personal experience. I do feel more at home in a more rural setting than in the city. I've never been a city person, but I'm finding it definitely better for my dogs as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts about different walking locations in the comments, so do let us know how you get on when you take your greyhound out. That's all for today. We'll be back again soon. Bye for now. Look out for new videos every Monday, and why not subscribe so you don't miss out?